And I think we'll start in a little bit of an elevated position. So, depending on what your body deems acceptable for both being flat versus elevated and being backbendy versus like neutral spined, you can decide. You can decide what you like. So I'm going to show a couple of different examples, and then you can take your pick of what you'd like to do. Actually, since you mentioned digestion, let me show the more digestive focused one first, which I'm going to grab a bolster to do that. Now, it doesn't have to be a bolster, but I like using a bolster for this because it gives you a nice steady ramp. So this version of Supta Baddha Konasana, reclining bound angle pose, has a more elevated recliner style back. You can use, the blocks are just elevators. So it doesn't have to be any kind of yoga anything. It's just something that gives you a little bit of height. You can do one low and one medium, or you can do one medium and one high. The taller one will be toward the end of your mat. That's where your head is going to go. And then, can you guys see that? I got like dark mats and dark bolster. Can you guys see the blocks okay on there? Okay. And then you'll place your bolster or your like poofy, floofy pillow on top of it, right? Like I could use one of those cushions, that would work nicely. And I've got a nice incline here. And then maybe I want to have an extra blanket or folded towel for my head. And when I lie down using that, when I use the bolster at an angle, what I want to do is scooch right up to it, really get right up on it, and then slowly lean back and adjust the headrest. Now, if you want to do the Supta Baddha Konasana version, it means the legs, the soles of the feet are together, the knees are out to the sides. You can do that, or you can have your legs some other way, knees bent or stretched out, or knees together and the feet wide. See what suits your body. Now, if your belly's a little bit not happy these days, then see what kind of position gives you some nice space for the abdomen so that you don't feel compressed. And then the other options are really just lower versions of this. So if you try the high elevated version and you're like, oh, that's okay, but I'd like to be a little flatter, you can take away the props and use the bolster flat down. Now the main caveat, if choosing to use a bolster or puffy cushion flat like this, is don't try to conform your low back to the high kind of 90-degree bend of your cushion. Leave yourself a little space between the back of the pelvis so that your support is underneath your rib cage all the way up to the crown of the head, and not so much under the low back. You can always scooch up or down to make it more comfortable. The lower version will have more of a pronounced chest opening, back bendy feeling. The elevated version, more of a neutral spine. Once you've arranged your props and yourself in a way that feels comfortable, take an exaggerated breath in and pause. Through the mouth, gently let it go. And again, exaggerate the inhale. Pause for a moment. And take your time with the exhale. Just like that. One more time. Inhaling, pausing, and exhaling. And now normal breathing. And as you breathe comfortably in and out, any way the breath wants to be, that's how we are letting it be. Bring your attention to the gentle rise and fall of the belly. And give a little extra awareness to letting the abdomen move freely with the breath. We're not trying to force the breath in. We're not trying to hug in the core or zip up the belly. Not at all right now. Allow the abdomen to rise and fall. One of the ways the body conserves energy when we're stressed out, or redirects rather, energy when we're stressed out, is it will shift our circulation to our arms and our legs and have our heart pound, but our digestive system doesn't get circulation, because if we're trying to run and evade a predator, we don't really need to worry about whether we're digesting well or not in that moment. But when we're stressed out in our modern day lives, usually that lasts longer than it takes to be chased by a predator and then recover. It's happening all day long, or all night long, or both, on and off, a lot. And so we take this moment to come back to ourselves, giving us back to ourselves by way of the breath. When we allow the abdomen to move freely in and out, we allow the circulation to flow, we allow all of the digestive system to do what it does with less constriction. And so it's not so much that we're bringing something in that's a magic trick, but rather that we're teaching our body how to kind of get out of its own way. So that the systems that are so really intricate and amazing can do what they do. Now from here, if your forearms are all the way down resting on something, and if the elbows aren't on the mat, adjust this so that you feel comfortable. If it's awkward and the elbows aren't touching, then make the movement smaller. If your forearms are touching down completely from the forearm to the palm, start with the palms facing down. And as you inhale, slowly turn the palms up. As you exhale, slowly roll over the pinky edge of the hand and turn the palms down. Just that. Take the whole inhale as the palms roll up, and the whole exhale as the palms roll down. The arms and hands, they're in the service of the breath. So whatever pace the breath wants to take, the arms are following. Just like that. Inhaling, palms turning up, and exhaling, palms turning down. Now, on your next inhale, make it more of a snow angel arm. If you're at an incline, reach up overhead at whatever angle feels pleasant and spacious for you. Exhale, arms out wide, and let the hands touch down for a moment. Inhale, make a generous circle around you. And exhale, the arms come back down one more time. Inhaling, keep the arms raised overhead. If it feels okay, turn your palms forward and hook your thumbs and give your thumbs a little tug. Just energize the muscles in the upper back and the arms. Take a breath in here. And as you exhale, gently release the arms, let them float down. Once the arms are down, any amount that feels right for you, roll the head a bit to one side and then to the other side. You might sway your knees in addition to or instead of the head. Find a pace that feels soothing and almost like a rocking, side to side. Take it nice and easy. Come back to center. Now, if you're up on the bolster and you're really happy and comfortable here and you'd like to stay here, we're going to do some leg stretches and hip stuff and move the legs around in the air. You are welcome to stay on the bolster for that. You are also welcome to, if you prefer, move the bolster or the support aside and come down so your torso is more flat. Either way is fine. Do what serves your body today. That's our main message. Do what works for you today. And so as you take a moment, resetting if you want. Now bring the right knee in the air and make circles. Nice, generous circles. Maybe they're kind of amoeba shaped. Go out to the side and back into center and then go the other way. Just take your time and explore the largest circles you can make with some degree of ease. Our purpose here is not like to have a contest about how big we can make our hip circles, but to warm up and lubricate the joints. Same leg. Take the foot up in the air. The knee can be bent. Rotate the ankle. Go the other way. Flex and point. And now, same leg. Clasp hands behind the thigh or hold your pant leg or a belt. Shrug your shoulders down and extend the leg in the air. So you find a bit of hamstring stretch right down the back of the leg. If it feels sharp or zingy, shift position a bit. See if you can make the stretch. Find a stretch that spreads out all over, especially the belly of the muscles. Now stay in the hamstring stretch. Start to rotate the whole leg. So the whole leg is turning out some, then back to neutral, and the whole leg is turning in some. I'm holding my leg as if I'm moving it with my hand, but my hands are like the monitors. Am I moving this way? Is it really happening? Yes, I am. Turn the whole leg out. Pause there. Turn the whole leg in. Pause there. Come back to center. And now bend the knee out to the side. Right knee points out to the right. Hold the shin any way you like. You might have the left hand on the ankle or a cup in the heel. Right hand near the knee. The whole shin is going across the body. Just moving some circulation into the hip in this, by way of this movement. Oh, hi, kitty. And now happy baby right side. Hold behind the thigh or up the shin. Rock a little with this happy baby. Getting into that deep crease in the hip, that deep bend in the hip. And then take a moment and hold the thigh down or the foot down, wherever you've got your right hand. Just keep it right there, stay there, take a couple breaths. Nice belly breath, generous breath in and out. Gradually release and place the foot down. Heel toe the feet. Both knees are bent, both feet are flat. Heel toe the feet out, mat width or even a little wider. And tip your knees to the left, leave them there. Reach the right arm overhead. Left arm does whatever it wants. It does not have a specific job right now. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. And let the belly rise and fall, especially on the right side. Give yourself some room, some space. So the belly is allowed to move like a sleeping baby's belly moves, or kind of at the other end of things, like an apex predator, right? Like lions, they don't worry when they're sleeping. Who's watching them? The rib cage moves. Great big, slow movements. Sweep the knees back in, bring the feet a little closer to each other, and then bring the left knee up in the air. Make circles, generous circles. Go the other way. Kitty. And now send the leg and the foot rather up in the air. Rotate the ankle. Take your time. And check in with the breathing even here. Go the other way. Cultivate a gentle belly breath. Let the abdomen rise and fall. Again, not forcing, but rather allowing the belly to move with the breath. Flex and point the foot. And then send the leg up in the air and take a hamstring stretch. You can hold behind the thigh or on your pant leg. Shrug the shoulders down. Let the neck relax. Breathe in and out. These first breaths with the leg in neutral, finding a moderate amount of stretch in the back of the leg. And then intentionally turning the whole leg out. Thigh, the shin, the foot. And then slowly to center and turning the whole leg in. Return to neutral, changing, turning out. I tend to feel the turnout more, but your experience may be different. Your results may vary. Notice what you feel like. Internally rotate. And one more time, visit each one. Take your time. What does it feel like? Is there any difference in sensation when you turn the leg out? And then as you pass through neutral, what do you notice? As you head over to the other side, to the internal rotation, usually not that common a movement for us. And then back to neutral again. Bend the knee, point the knee out to the side. Right hand is on cupping the heel or on the ankle or shin. Rock the whole shin side to side. And now happy baby on this side. Holding behind the thigh or shin or foot, wherever works for your body, rocking gently. Let the hips rock. The bottom knee can sway along with it. We're not trying to hold anything in place or isolate. Now, when you kind of rock over toward that knee and that hip that's getting the stretch, stay right there. Stay right in the deep bend at the hip. What's it like there? What's it like now? Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. And gently release the leg, touch the foot down, heel toe your feet mat width or a little wider, tip the knees to the right, and reach the left arm overhead. So this is the other side of our windshield wipers. Knees to the right, breathe into the left side of the abdomen. Breathe into the left side of the rib cage. Send the breath in between the ribs. And give yourself room to breathe. And with each inhale, invite the breath to flow into this side of the abdomen, the waist, the rib cage. Even breathing into the upper back, breathing up into the chest and the shoulder blade and the armpit. Take another breath in. And gently bring yourself back to center. Bring the arms down. Walk the feet in. And from here, knees bent and feet flat. Let's do a little pelvic clock movement. So as you exhale, and if your belly is feeling especially tender today, there's no need to work so strongly that it causes your abdomen to feel aggravated or irritated. So as you exhale, pull the belly button down gradually, as much as you like, as much as you choose. And then as you inhale, gradually relaxing, releasing. And again, pull the belly button down toward the mat. The low back gets flatter. And on the inhale, releasing that so the natural curve of your low back returns. Exhaling, abdominal muscles engage, low back flattens. Inhaling, the belly rises, the low back curve returns. Just like that. Exhaling, engaging. Inhaling, relaxing into neutral. Continue like that. The work on the exhale. And let the belly rise on the inhale. So we're finding that interplay between the muscles being recruited and engaging and supporting us, and then that flexibility and expandability that they have. Return to neutral. And now on your imaginary pelvic clock dial, move across the dial from 3 to 9, rocking across the back of the sacrum and pelvis to where you imagine your 9 o'clock is, and then rocking straight across the dial to 3 o'clock. And just like that, rocking across your dial, 9 o'clock, and right across the dial again to 3. And just like that, you might inhale as you go one way, pause, take your time with the exhale as you go the other way, pause. Engaging the abdominal muscles as much as it makes sense in your body today, right? If you want to wake up the abs with a bit of extra engagement, you can. If you're taking care of a belly that's feeling a bit tender today, maybe not so strongly engaging. Perhaps focusing more on that flow of the breath, the rise and the fall. It's like an inner massage. Come back to center. Now imagine your pelvic clock dial in its entirety, and we'll travel all the way around the circumference of the dial. Start at 12 o'clock, pressing the low back down into the mat, and gradually circle your way around the dial, pressing the 1, the 2, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and back around 12. Keep going. All the way around. You are in charge of how quickly you want to move. You might spiral into different size circles. How you approach this is up to you. And keep moving gently. As you finish this last circle, reverse direction. And as you come to 12 o'clock, stay right there at 12 o'clock. Pause and pause and pause, and then release the effort. Bring the feet back in and rock over to one side. Pick a side, any side will do. And let's take ourselves into a gentle twist. I'm going to grab the bolster again since we used it before. So if you've got bolster, pillow, or blankets, rest your top shin on that support. If you don't have any of those things, you can rest your or you don't want to, you can rest your shin on your mat directly. Your head rests either on support or on your own arm. Reach the top arm out in front of you. And we'll start with a bow and arrow movement. Pull back your bowstring, bending your elbow, and unfurl the arm behind you. And then come back the same way you went in. Now, if you find A different angle works better for your body, or straight arm works better than the bent elbow. Adjust accordingly to take the best care of yourself. I like to also inhale into the twist. You know, a lot of times in twists when we're upright, we'll exhale as we go into a twist. But this one, since we've got that spacious feeling across the chest, it's rather nice to inhale into the twist. As you come back to our starting position on the side, let's make circles in the air with the arm. Go overhead and around with a straight arm, with a bent elbow, however you choose. Now also, if you want to add extra, like an extra ab strengthener, you can do that here. The way you might approach it is as your arm comes over, like from the hip to the knee, zip up the belly. It's almost like you want to see something at the other side of your room, and you can't quite see it when you're lying down. You have to get up, lift your head, neck, shoulders as your arm sweeps around, and then slowly lower yourself. Don't just fall down. Don't just fall down. It's good advice in yoga. Peeling up if you want, and slowly uncurling down. And again. You might feel this more in the obliques around the sides of the waist. As you complete your circle, reverse. All the way around in the other direction, arms straight or bent, your choice. The ab thing doesn't work as well when you're going in let's say you're going like the freestyle, swimming freestyle way of moving your arm. And then with the next circle you make, open up in your twist and take a few generous breaths in your twist. If your arms would like to spread out, one or both, feel free to do that. If that doesn't feel good, then don't do that. But definitely think of like spreading across the chest and the collarbones from shoulder to shoulder. That whole area across the upper chest expanding, and as much twist as feels okay. And this is where taking a deep breath can be more challenging because of the mechanical, structural aspects of the pose. Right? Just twisting here constricts where the breath can go. Take your time. Breathe gently, allowing the breath to fill you up as much as comfortably available. Take another couple breaths. And gently come back onto your side. We'll stay on this side and do part 2. Move your bolster out of the way. Bring both knees so they're bent in a fetal position. Reach for the top shin or front of the ankle, getting ready for a quad stretch. Now, if the foot is too far away, grab a resistance band or yoga belt, or grab your pants if you can reach your clothing. Whatever you can get a hold of connected to the top leg, and zip up your belly as you start to send the knee away from the chest. And take a look at where the leg is. We're not pointing the knee up at the ceiling. Instead, think of aiming to have your thigh bone parallel to the floor. Your hips are more or less stacked. And then see what feels interesting. What effect does it have on this quad stretch if you squeeze your glutes on that side? More or less. What if you give your abs a little bit of a hug and a lift? Does that change things? Kind of try and tuck the tailbone here. What effect does it have if you pull your heel in towards your butt? And now, if you press your foot into your hand or your band, like your leg is trying to straighten. And observe, right? If one makes like your knee doesn't like one, but it loves another version, that's a good reason to go with that version. If one version feels like it gives you a better or a better quad stretch in the front of the thigh, then that's also a good reason to go with that. Release, release, and let the knee and the hip move around a bit. You can straighten and bend the knee, move the hip joint. Go the other way. Hips can tip, so this isn't like when we do clamshells. We're not trying to keep everything stable and steady. When you're ready, go to the other side and we'll pick up with our gentle twist. Grab your bolster or your stacked blankets. The top knee is bent and the bottom leg is stretched out straight. Once you have that, you've got a nice head support. Reach the top arm out in front of you and draw your bow and arrow. Opening up into the twist. And again, let the rhythm of the breath guide the movement so that as you inhale, you're opening into the twist, and as you exhale, you're gently coming onto your side. Inhaling, opening, and exhaling. Inhaling, opening, exhaling. The next time that you open and you're in the twist, stay there, breathe. If comfortable, the arms reaching out wide. If that's not comfortable, arrange your arms a different way. Sometimes I like to bend the elbow on that top side, bend the elbow and rest the hand on the waist or the rib cage. Make your shoulder happy, make your neck happy. And as long as they agree, the shoulder and the neck, then the arms can go wherever. And let the breath flow into this side of the rib cage and the chest and the upper back. And take your time with the breath to let it fill you gradually and completely. Take another breath here. When you're ready, make your way over onto your side. And once you're there, move the bolster, bend the knees, come into a fetal position, and we'll take our quad stretch. So remember, the quadriceps are the muscles at the front of the thigh. This is the area we're looking to stretch. Reach for your ankle with your hand, a belt, or reach for your pant leg. Try to avoid pointing the knee up at the sky. Have the thigh bone parallel to the floor. Zip up the belly. And then do a little experimentation. What does it feel like if you try and tuck the tailbone? What does it feel like if you squeeze the glutes on that side? What does it feel like if you pull your foot towards your bum? What does it feel like if you resist the leg like it's trying to straighten? Noticing which combinations give you comfort in your joints, a nice feeling of stretch in the front of the leg, maybe an extra sense of space, maybe stability. It's not like stability or space are always, one is always right or wrong. There are elements of both. Sometimes we could use a little extra of one more than the other. So we're bringing our awareness into the pose and into the body to discern. What are we feeling? What do we need? Release, release, release. And now making generous circles. Let the hips tilt. This is the unwinding mobility circle. This is not the strengthening clamshell. Go the other way. Nice. Ease yourself up. Use your hands to press up and turn so that you're facing your mat. Hands and knees. And drop the hips. Come into child's pose. Knees as wide as you like, feet a bit closer. And from your child's pose, use your hands and lean your hips, lean your ribs to one side. Lean your ribs to the other side, kind of a, against cat-cow, we move our spine like arching and rounding. This is like a side-to-side cat-cow movement in the spine. A sidewinder cat-cow. Good. Gently round your back and ease up to the Halloween cat position. Readjust your knees. You can bring them in a little bit closer now, round the spine, and then let your back melt into a back bend. Exhale, lift the belly and round the spine, and inhaling into a back bend just like that again. And leave your hips high. Walk your hands out in front of you, taking a long stretchy position. So we'll leave the bum high in the air. Walk the arms out. The hands can be shoulder width or wider. And keep a little bit of the belly lifting as the chest and the forehead melt down closer to your mat. The head may or may not touch. That's not the purpose of the whole exercise, but finding a bit of meltiness in the upper back and a sense of openness in the chest. Going to take a couple more breaths here. And walk the hands back in, press into the floor. Bring your right foot forward in a low lunge. As you come into your low lunge, scoot your foot a little further than you might normally be for most low lunges and walk both hands to the inside of the foot. We're going to turn this into a hip stretch kind of low lunge. You might come down toward or resting on the forearms. They don't have to completely touch. They might not. One may touch and the other may not. All forms of this are okay. Easy in the shoulders. Now press the palms back into the mat. A gentle, we're not going to stay in this twist. We'll do it kind of dynamic. The left hand stays down on the mat. And the right arm opens up to the sky. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, come back to facing the mat. You can bring your hand down or rest your hand on your thigh. Inhale, twist and reach up. Exhale, come back to center, touch down. One more time, inhale, open. And exhale back to center and touch down. Swing the leg around, change sides. Bring the left foot forward. Lean the hips forward and down, both hands inside the front foot. Bend the elbows, bring the forearms as close to the mat as they're willing to go. And breathe while you're here. Follow the rhythm of the breath. Notice if it gets shallow or tight. Give it some space. Let the shoulders relax. Take a couple more breaths. Very gently press into the hands. The right hand stays down on the mat, and we'll do 4 of these. Opening up the arm, left arm to the sky, inhale, and then back to center, touch down on the exhale. Inhale, open up, and exhale, touch down. Open up, and touch down. Last one. Swing the foot back around. Take the knees wide, the big toes closer. Child's pose. This time walk the hands over to the right. Side bending child's pose. Walk the hands to the other side. Guide the breath into the side of the torso that's more spacious right now, that's getting the twist. And walk the hands back to center. And slowly ease your way to hands and knees, and then swing your legs around. And as you swing the legs around, bend the knees. Lean forward, stack your forearms, and see if there's a spacing of the legs and a positioning of the arms that allow you to rest your forehead on your arms or your abdomen on your thighs. Some way that folding forward feels like it's not a lot of effort. Let the belly rise and fall right here. Now, especially if the thighs are right at the belly, if it feels uncomfortable and you want a little more space, you can always walk the hands up, kind of back off a little bit. If it feels okay to sense that pressure of the chest and the abdomen rather, and the thighs making contact, use that pressure to send the breath instead out to your rib cage, the sides of your ribs. So as the belly feels that bit of resistance of the of the legs, let the lungs expand out wide to the sides instead. Let the back body expand a bit. You're breathing into the back of the lungs and the back of the ribs and the back of the waist. Breathing into the sides of the ribs and the sides of the waist. And gently ease your way up. Take your time, nice and slow. Stretch your legs out. Bend the right knee. Place the right foot flat. And we're going to take an open twist today. So right hand on the right leg. Sit tall, lean a little backward, and then twist to the left. So you're twisting away from the bent knee. Now the hand that's holding the knee, it can hug around the shin, or if you want, you can bring it inside the shin. It'll give you a bit of leverage there. You can put the hand on the other leg. And just noticing what it's like to take the twist with a little bit of a different arrangement. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can have the elbow either inside or outside. Both are right. You may find that one is more comfortable or you want more leverage from the inside. Unwind gently and switch legs. Same thing over here. Left knee bends. Sit tall, lean back a little bit. Twisting away from the bent knee. Long spine, gentle breath. And again, you might hold the outside of the leg and the shin. You might bring the hand, the elbow to the inside of the leg. Both are correct. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe down into the belly, breathe into the low back. Breathe up in between the rib cage. And unwind. Release. From here, scoot yourself down onto your back. Hug your knees. Rock gently. Take happy baby with both legs. Rock side to side. Unwind. And then see what your body is in the mood for. You might want to take a hip stretch or thread the needle or sleeping pigeon or something else like that. You might want one last twist to linger in. Check in with your body. What is it asking for right now? If you're doing the hip stretch, I'll talk through the hip stretch. The twist is any twist, any spinal twist of your choice. So if you're doing the hip stretch, right ankle or right leg crossed over on top, your hands can be behind the leg, wrapped around the legs, anywhere that helps facilitate a gentle stretch in the outer hip or buttock. Take a few more breaths in your twist or hip stretch. Gently unwind, change legs, or change sides if you're twisting. Adjust so that this side has what it needs. Unwind the legs and take the knees in circles. If you were doing the hip stretch, consider knees in opposite direction or moving separately in some way. And reverse it. Now, if you were very happy with the elevated starting position we were in on your bolster, you might set that up again. Grabbing a bolster for behind the torso, adding a blanket for your head. If you'd rather use your bolster or your pillow under your legs, you can absolutely do that too. Or instead, if you have lots of bolsters, you can do both, assuming you have one, um, which is what most of us have. Choose the one that delights your body today. And then as you arrange things, really set up like you're setting up for your beloved. Treat yourself like your beloved. Make sure you're comfortable. There's nothing random touching you. When you are arranged comfortably, inhale and squeeze every muscle in the body. Exhale and let it all go. And let the earth support you. Feel the steadiness of the earth beneath you. In these groundless times, it can feel like we're in some weird kind of free fall. But take a moment to fully experience that the earth is right here. That there is a source of physical, tangible support. Give yourself permission to let go into that support, to let it be here for you. Swallow and relax the throat and the jaw. I heard something today about was comparing us to making a brisket. I know you didn't think you'd hear a talk of briskets in Shavasana. Stay with me. And the guy was talking about how he was making a brisket that morning and had put it in at 5 a.m. And he said there's this, it's a long process and it's not like a great quality of meat to just make a steak out of and throw it on the grill. It requires this long cooking process. And if you stop partway through, there's a point at which the meat is very dry and it's not very tasty. But if you have faith, if you trust the process, and allow things to stay in the fire. Allow the heat to do its work. That then what you get is something melty and flavorful and delightful. And I liked that part of his message was, we're not all fresh young steaks. So don't try to throw yourself on the grill and be done quickly. Like really allow life to to cook us in a way where we emerge as more more flavorful and delicious, but really more complex and wise. So maybe we can let our experiences bring additional flavor, seasoning, wisdom, and spice into our being, into our lives. Now imagine the breath can flow freely through the entire body. Inhale and visualize the breath coming all the way up the body, and exhale, let the breath flow all the way down the body, gently refreshing you, inhaling upward and exhaling downward. Inhale, take something with you from your practice today, and exhale, let something go. Take something with you and let something go. When you're ready, start to move the hands and feet. Inhale and stretch the arms overhead. Get long, reawaken, lengthen. When you're ready, draw the knees in one, then both, and rock gently. Take your time. Rock over to one side and pause there. And as you come to upright, gently bring the palms together, lower the chin, inhaling, lifting the heart. Exhale, tilting the chin down. And taking a moment in gratitude for this extended cooking process we're all in together. Namaste. The brisket in me bows to the brisket in you. Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy your brisket.